Thank you. So, my name is Travis Nelson. I'm going to keep this short because I really do want to hear from you, and I don't want to sit here and grandstand, even though I love to talk. So, I am an officer of the state party. I'm also a member of the Democratic National Committee, the first African American ever elected to the Democratic National Committee from Oregon. And I was recently elected to a leadership position in the Black Caucus of the Democratic National Committee, the first African American LGBT person ever to be elected to a leadership position within the Democratic Party. What I want to say to all of you is get involved in party politics. Everybody in here may not be a Democrat, but if you are, show up. There are many times I go to meetings and there are 100 people in the room and I am one of 1 or 2 black people in the room, and they are talking about advocating for minorities and what black people need, and it's people who don't look like us that are talking about what should be happening for us and to us. And so show up, reach out to me, talk to me. I'd love to see you at a Democratic Party meeting, either at the county or the state level. Thank you.
I want to say I am grateful to be here. I am so grateful. Now, I'm one of the youngest people sitting on this panel today, and I want to say that you don't know about that? Okay. I might have a little bit more grade than you, okay? All right. But I gotta say that a lot of these people sitting here on this panel, a lot of people out there that I know, you guys have been a blessing to me. Let me tell you about some of the experiences I've had. And a lot of you know me, you know, I'm a laid-back individual. You know, I'm not afraid of confrontation, but I'll do anything in my power to make sure it doesn't happen. But let me tell you what, I haven't had the easiest life. And when the 2 people were singing earlier, I got emotional a little bit because it brought me home a little bit. Now, I'm Portland born, but I was raised in New York City. Okay? So I've gone through a lot of things. You guys talk about police brutality. It's bad here, it's bad there too. Okay? Now, I've experienced homelessness, me and my family. At the age of 19, 20, I had to be the surrogate father to my little brother because my mother had passed away. My mother passed away at 16. My first experience here in Portland was being not pulled over, stopped by the cops because I looked like I fit the description of someone that was breaking into a car, even though I was walking towards that direction. Somehow, black people who are young can teleport. But that did not deter me. And now I'm here today. I've ran for office before, but now I'm running to be the chair of the Washington County Board of Commissioners. And I'd like to say I could not do it alone. A lot of these people have been supportive. A lot of these people take time out of their day to talk to me, to guide me. And again, being part of the younger generation, I appreciate the platform that a lot of the older folks have given me. Wait. The wiser folks. How about that? The wiser folks. Round of applause for the wiser folks in the room, guys. I love you guys. You know I love you guys. You know I love you guys. But again, like these people have been a blessing to me, I implore all of you to be a blessing to someone who's young. Do not discourage them. If they have a voice, let them have that voice because they'll be working on behalf of all of us. They have the energy. I have the energy. I work 12 hours a day, worry about my little brother, and do this political stuff. And I got the energy and I want to do it. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Loretta Smith, and I'm your Multnomah County Commissioner here in Portland. And like many who have said before me, y'all look good in here. I have never seen a room like this. In this room, and this is where the Multnomah County Ds are, I can tell you in the last, Joanne, I haven't seen this room looking like this. No, you're right. Never. So for us, who's been around here for a long time, it feels real good. I've been a county commissioner for 7 years, but I want to go back to where I came from. I came here from Michigan to go to school at Oregon State University at 17 years old.
Go Bees.
Go Bees. I say that really lightly. But my son is a husky, so I don't hold that against him either, so that's okay. But at 17 years old, I come to Oregon. I have family here. I've been to Portland, you know, grandparents and dad's side of the family here in Oregon. Would come back and forth summers and holidays to visit my grandparents. But what I didn't know was I thought that all of Oregon was like Portland, Northeast Portland at least. And so I had an opportunity there to go to Oregon State University. I was a track runner. And actually I applied to the wrong school. I thought I was applying to U of O. So my cousin said, come go to school with me, so I figured she went to U of O. And I ran track, and so I said, okay. I got in and got there, and no, it wasn't U of O. It was Oregon State. In fact, the year that I came in, they got rid of their track team, so that's a whole nother story. But at any rate, my first week in the dorms, I had a young woman who was my roommate. She was there before I was. And so after the first day or two, I think it was after 2 days, she said, I have something to tell you. I said, what? She said, I'm moving. I said, oh, why? She said, well, my dad said that he didn't want me to live with a black person. And I said, really? And I was really kind of disappointed because, you know, we were about the same size, and I thought, I didn't get a chance to wear clothes, drive her car, give me a real reason not to be my roommate. Well, I said, where are you from? She said, Grants Pass. And I said, I didn't know Grants Pass from Salem. You know, but as I learned and figured out the culture of Oregon and what happens on that I-5 corridor and where to go and where not to go, especially if you're playing football in North Medford and South Medford. I've been there, done that. And that was very scary for people who look like us, people of color. And so I graduate and fast forward, then I go to the Urban League of Portland when they matched you up with jobs. And I said, you know, I'm looking for a management trainee program. Do you have anything like this, the S&L crisis going on? I said, no, we don't have any jobs. We got one job, and it's a receptionist for this congressman who's pretty popular. Well, I'm from Michigan, so I don't know who he is, but they said, you know, this would be a great opportunity for you because you get to know a lot of people. I said, well, you know, I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college, and my mom is not going to be happy about me being a receptionist. And she said, well, you know, we don't have any other jobs that you're qualified for. And so she asked me one just very simple question that I tell the kids that I work with. She said, do you have a job? And I said, no. She said, you better get over there and answer those phones. And I went and answered the telephones, but what I didn't know, you guys, what I really, really didn't know was that was my management trainee program. And so I tell the kids in my summer works program, don't poo-poo your first job or position out of college, particularly when you're in a liberal arts school and you know you didn't get an engineering degree, an accounting degree. Don't poo-poo that, because had it not been for that first job that I stayed at for 21 years, yes, you can clap for that because that was huge. I didn't stay a receptionist, but that management trainee program was there, and I moved around through the system of Congressman Wyden, and then I went with him to the Senate when he became a U.S. Senator. And so as I got to know the community and things that we were doing, it became clear to me that, you know, I was only supposed to be there for a few months until I found a job in my career area, which was broadcasting. And before I knew it, I had raised a son in Portland Public Schools, got him off to college. and got the nerve to run myself, because are any of you familiar with OABA? Oregon Assembly for Black Affairs. So I do this youth program every Friday, every other year. And I'm engaging, inspiring, trying to tell young people, you need to run for office, you need to get engaged, you need to get involved. And this opportunity came up, and I was actually on my way to Mexico with my mom. And someone said, well, you know, maybe you should put your name in. I was like, no, can't do that. I'm on my way to Mexico. Can't do that. And so it was really clear to me that this is something that I was supposed to do, because Commissioner Vakil, who sat on the Multnomah County Board, she said, I want to have lunch with you. And if you understood what was happening at Multnomah County, Jeff Cogan moved over to the chair, and Ted Wheeler moved to the state for the treasurer, because there was the death of the treasurer, and and there was an open seat. And she asked me to run, and she said, I think you'll be good. We were working on a human trafficking legislation with Senator White at the time. I said, I don't know. I've never run before. I do the senator's money stuff and people stuff. I don't do that. So I got the nerve to run. I got in 10 minutes to 5 on filing deadline in March. Now, much has been made about when you file, what you don't do, what you can do. But I tell you what, I wouldn't advise you to do that, not on filing deadline, because you're late. You're late. It was 11 people in the race. 11 people in the race. I was told that I had about a 7% chance of winning. And they probably were right. But they didn't know what I knew. That you gotta have faith. Amen. You gotta know what you're doing. And you gotta believe in yourself. I didn't have a lot of time to knock on doors, but what I did do was I figured out a way to connect with the people that I had been serving for a very long time, vulnerable folks like seniors and young people. And so I went to my base and I talked to them, and I told them why I wanted to be a county commissioner, why I wanted to support the most vulnerable in our community. I wanted to protect our seniors. I wanted to build an infrastructure for our youth, and I wanted to help to create jobs. That's who I was. And guess what? I made it to the runoff. And when I made it to the runoff, we made history. Carol Collymore, who was African American, she was #1 with 36% of the vote. I had 18% of the vote. There had never been 2 African Americans to run off in any election in the state of Oregon. And I told Carol, I said, you know what? I said, regardless, a black woman's gonna win. A black woman's gonna win, and guess what? We got people paying attention. We got people saying, look what we have in our community. And everybody said to me, how do you win this? But what I didn't know was, I didn't know that no one has ever come back from an 18 percentage point lead to come and win. May 19th, the day after the primary, I started walking. I started knocking on the doors. I had Carol Collymore on it. And I said, hi. I got in late on the race. I didn't have a chance to meet folks. But this is who I am. My name's Loretta Smith. I've spent most of my life in public service. I care about young people, seniors, and jobs. I'd like you to reconsider me for this county commission seat. They said, you walking too early. You're walking too early, Loretta. I wasn't walking too early. I was behind by 18 percentage points. We get to the finish line, and everybody said, we can't call this race. We can't call it. Guess what? We called that race at 8:15. I had 63% of the vote, 36% of the vote. And what I'm saying to you, I say that to say, you had 2 great candidates, but you gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta know what you know, what you know, what you know. And if you figure that you can do this. I don't care what the odds are. You go out there and do what you know how to do. So for me, I'm always going to be thinking about how I can do something to help our young people and help our older folks. And that's why I'm going to be running for Portland City Council, So thank you for indulging me for just a second.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate the invitation. My name is Bruce Broussard. Everybody probably knows my name. Just Googling me. You probably see me one way or the other. But you know, I'm really thanking Dr. Rosa here for inviting me over because, you know, I really felt good about it because she invited me as the Oregon Voter Digest. The Oregon Voter Digest. It wasn't about Republican, it wasn't about Democrat, it wasn't about independent, it wasn't about this and that. She invited me. And maybe I felt good about that because maybe she saw me when we went